Good Monday evening to you. For decades, anti-abortion activists have used this day, the anniversary of the Roe v. Wade decision, to stand united across our country. But now that Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022, the event here in Minnesota has been much more focused on state politics. And today, Kent went where numerous Minnesotans turned out in St. Paul to hear about how that's impacting their message.
Even as thousands of abortion opponents from across Minnesota marched together to the state capitol on what would have been the 51st anniversary of Roe v. Wade, this was no victory lap.
It was very promising to hear the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and that was a big victory for us, but that's only the beginning, and we have a lot more to do.
Organizers with Minnesota Citizens Concerned for Life cite growing concern in response to DFL laws expanding access to abortion, along with growing numbers of abortions in our state since overturning Roe in 2022.
2023 may have seen over 17,000 babies aborted in our state. If this is true, we will have returned to the highest number of abortions in Minnesota since 1980.
We find it really important to represent those who can't speak for themselves.
But many in the DFL-controlled legislature argue that they represent a majority of Minnesotans who support maintaining access to abortion, especially at a time when other states are restricting it.
Since Roe was overturned a year and a half ago, Minnesota has become an island of access for abortion care.
For Minnesota being a sanctuary for abortion, and it's so sad.
But in a year in which many believe putting abortion on the ballot will motivate Democrats at the polls, a constitutional amendment to protect access is already being discussed, and the governor is likely on board.
Making sure we have the strength in place, making sure we continue to firewall, I'm certainly open to if the legislature determines that's the best route.
A state constitution is a statement of our values as a people, and we can't have abortion up to birth in our state constitution. Having abortion in the state constitution would take away their ability and their right to represent you in terms of who is protected in law in the state of Minnesota.
If we do that, I'll move. I mean, I feel that passionate about it. I don't want to live in a state that represents that, but I'm hopeful that it can change and not be like that.
I don't know if we're going to ever change things with laws and mechanics. I think we have to pray for people's hearts and minds that they would change.
There was a poll late last year that asked Minnesota voters about that possible constitutional amendment that would include the right to abortion and reproductive rights. And of the 1,500 voters surveyed by MemPost and Inbold Research, 65% said they would support an amendment and 34% said they would oppose it.